work hard for money. And so I replaced that.
How are you? All right, I didn't say you could sit down. It happened you didn't stand up. If you want to make money, everybody up, 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 up. All right, you look like a really new crew. Has anybody ever seen me speak before?
No.
One. Wow. You have no idea. All right, so the reason you're standing is how many of you really want to make money?
Yeah.
How many of you, well, then part of you aren't, so you all have to vote. Yes or no? How many of you want to make money?
Yes. Yes.
A lot more money than you're making now?
Yes.
And how many of you want to be millionaires?
Yes.
How many of you say yes all day just because we're doing this? So how many of you seriously, like we entered 2015, and here's like the greatest resolutions, right? I'm going to lose weight and make money. Right? This is the two normal ones. So how many of you like had some financial goal we turned into this year?
Yeah.
Well, are some of you not ever going to vote? Well, you have to say yes or no. You got to kind of get in the game here. So how many of you turned the year and like really said, I'm going to make some money?
Yes.
And how's it going? We're about May 1 here. Are you? How many of you are seriously on, like you're beyond your goals and you actually set some goals and you have a business plan? Okay, so the rest of you, like, it isn't just going to happen. You've got to get really intentional about it. So are you up for about the next 90 minutes to get really intentional, fix the mess that started the year, which wasn't really properly planned, and get to it?
Absolutely.
And then you do everything I say.
Yes.
See, here's what's interesting. There's this little undercurrent, so well, if I like what you say. I don't know if I really like it. I'm only going to do the stuff I want to do. So how many of you seriously, like, you've really ever been mentored, coached, and got straight about this entrepreneur wealth building game? Like, you actually know it. Mm-hmm. Right? See, that's the problem. We're not trained. We're trained to go to school to be occupational employees. Right? And then you go on to get an MBA, a massive bad attitude, which gives you some cute, right, gives you some cute letters behind your name, but it doesn't teach you how to make any money. So we're going to talk about a massive bank account. And the way entrepreneurs do it is we hang with other entrepreneurs. Employees hang out with employees. Entrepreneurs hang out with entrepreneurs. Right? So we're going to do a quiz. In the next 90 minutes, I'm going to talk about some of this stuff. Wealth building mindset. Here's the fastest way you can change your mindset around money. And I was in The Secret, so I can make fun of my other 26 authors and some of the funny things. They'll tell you to go journal and meditate and go to therapy and, you know, let's think about it and maybe manifest about it. I call them the secrety people, right? They're sitting right in the chair going, oh, money's going to come to me. Yeah, just like that relationship is. Right? Not going to happen. You got to like get out and you got to get something done. The problem is you're not trained. So my job is to fix those of you that really want to make money, and the rest of you, it'll be entertainment for the next 90 minutes. But those of you, I come out to look for serious players who want to do it, because I am making millionaires. So the book is a 3 to 5 year millionaire promise. If you actually do what we say, you'll be a millionaire in 3 to 5 years. Do you have for it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the way I shift your mindset is help you make money. The faster I can help you get really like hard, cold cash in your pocket, and then a system for cash, you're home free, right? The fastest way, so if you have an odd relationship to money, I can promise you evidence, which is cash, will change it faster than anything else. Make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, aren't you just a different human when you have money?
Yeah.
Yes. And you're really like interesting when you don't. All right, so we're going to talk. Then I have this whole cool thing where I can help you make money literally in a few hours. It's so easy to make money. All right, how many of you want to learn that?
Yes. Yes.
All right, we guarantee money, by the way. We're the only company in the world where I guarantee you money in a couple days. I guarantee you a 6-figure income in less than 1 year. And I guarantee millionaire status, or you get your money back. I don't give money back very often. Actually, in 9 years, we haven't given any back. Because you play, and you play to win. Right? But how many of you know that you're going to have to shift some of the interesting behavior you're doing to do this, what we're talking about? Yes. And so the real question is, are you willing to?
Yes.
And if not, now when? Now. Right? Because, yeah, now would be the right answer. So what we're going to do, and the reason you're standing, is we're going to take a quiz. As you flunk, you sit down. All right? It's not musical chairs, so you don't have to stand back up. So everyone up, or you've already flunked, which means you don't even want to play in the game. All right, so the first thing, so by the way, you're going to read my book.
Yeah.
You're supposed to say yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So when you read my book, the way to read the book is I've identified over the last almost 2 decades of doing this work that there's about 7 interesting things people do to themselves. So like I do have cash poor millionaires. I have people who are lifestyle junkies, which means you know how to make money, but you spend it as fast as you make it, so there's never any to invest. I have people who are in debt. I have people who are stuck entrepreneurs. You've really gotten to the 6 figures, but never to 7. I have people below 6 figures. I have businesses that are sole proprietors, which is completely ridiculous. And so there's a bunch of variety of interesting things you've done to yourself. So the way you read the book is more like a guide. You find the story. Can we turn that down just? Yeah. So you find the story that's most like the situation you've created, and then there's literally blueprints like this that walk you through how to be a millionaire. And then have any of you ever played the cash flow game with Kiyosaki?
Yes.
So I was the actual master distributor for the first 5 years of that whole game. And then, of course, I created a game because I think game learning is powerful. So the Millionaire Maker book goes with this, and you just keep playing it until you figure out how to be a millionaire, and then put it in your life, and then away you go. Okay? Easy. Easy. Just turn your name. It's so easy.
Fun. So easy.
It's easy.
Easy. So.
You can hear the little undercurrent of like
Game night.
fire. I heard it. All right, so
Like
when
you
you
can
read
do
the
it,
plan,
then you can
there's
read
7 things that are in every plan. So the first thing, and we're going to see, really the quiz is to see who's most ready to be a millionaire. Right? So there's 7 things in every plan, no matter what you've done to yourself financially. So your relationship to money is critical for how we're going to work together. So it's why I wrote my Yes Energy book. This has become an Australian bestseller. I have offices in Australia since 2007. So Yes Energy is the say yes and figure it out attitude. Right? And a say yes means you actually don't know what the heck you're doing. You know what I mean? How many of you said that before? You said yes and then you went and figured it out, but you actually had no flipping idea what you were doing.
Yes.
Right? That's a yes, right? And so you're just in, and you're willing to like figure it out. So that's Yes Energy. Here's what no energy sounds like. No energy is I can't afford it. It's my favorite lie. Well, you can't afford it because you don't know how to make any money. But if you could afford it, like you'd buy anything you want, right? The only reason you're not buying and having the life you want is you don't know how to make enough money. If you know how to make money, you buy anything you want. And I'm going to have you buy assets first, so we have a big, rich wealth building system. So no energy also sounds like, I don't have time. Like if you tell me you don't have time, you do not have it organized. I have so much time. I have so much fun. Oh my gosh. It's like you should create the life you want and have a lot of fun. So, and usually if you don't have time, you're working on things you shouldn't be doing. But because you don't have the money, you can't hire it to be done. Right? The other great excuse is I'm not ready. Like really? How are you going to get ready? Right? So, but if you have any conversation that's anxious, kind of ridiculous, you whine about money, you complain about money, you can't afford it, you say I don't have time, I'm not ready. If you say any of those ridiculous things, those no energy things, have a seat. If you have total yes energy standing, it's a truth-telling quiz, be honest. It's fine, no one's looking at you. They're looking this way. All right, the next one, it's a quick one. You got to know where you are. So you got to know your P&Ls and balance sheets. So you have to know your income, your expenses, your cash flow. You have to know your balance sheet, which is your assets, liability, net worth. So if you don't know where you are financially, have a seat. Okay? The next one, Freedom Day. So there's 2 conversations in the world going on around money. So there's the occupational conversation, which we're all traditionally trained in, and then there's the entrepreneurial conversation, which very few of us get access to, which is why I'm on this huge mission to change the conversation about money to entrepreneurialism. Because in occupational world, like most traditional financial firms, like Susie Orman, you've heard of her, I'm sure. You've heard of David Bach, you've heard Dave Ramsey, all those guys. They're all occupational trainers. They want you to live within your means, keep your job. If you need more money, get a second job. What a ridiculous idea.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? So that is not our conversation. You're not going to get a job, put a whole bunch of money in your RSP, and like hope the whole thing works out. Even though you Canadians are paid more than Americans, right, in traditional salaries, you still get taxed to pieces.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know. It's exciting. So the entrepreneurial conversation is let's grow your means. Let's grow to 1 million. Let's get together in groups and teams of people. Let's grow an economy together. Let's go buy assets while they are thriving right now. So you guys haven't really figured out some of the gas and oil things we figured out in Texas. So I have a gas and oil company in Texas, and it's so awesome. I have real estate. I have 92 companies that I'm a part of.
Wow.
I have fun. I'm buying stuff. I'm helping people buy stuff. So I'm like an ultimate shark or like Dragon's Den person. In fact, Kevin Harrington is one of my partners who is the original shark on Shark Tank. So we do a lot of that. We look, and my goal for you is to put, how many of you would like to get on the other side of this? Figure out how to make money and then actually become a shark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you can actually buy and acquire. And so that's my ultimate goal. And the reason I really come out is because I'm looking for people who want to play. Right? That's really how I make millionaires. So the entrepreneurial conversation doesn't use the word retirement. We use the word freedom day. I made that up, by the way. Because retirement, if you look at it by definition, it's an agricultural word that means to put cattle to pasture to die. Seriously, so like these financial institutes, you're like, let's go retire. Who the hell wants to retire? You're not cows, you're not dying. It's a ridiculous word. So it's like illegal, just like budgets. I don't use the word budgets. They're like diets. No one does that. I don't use the word savings. So any restrictive language we've eliminated, and we just made up some new words because we've got to get it properly done. So Freedom Day is our new word. It also has to do with monthly cash flow. Because even if you own everything, your debt's paid off, and you're a millionaire, you still need cash flow. You still got to buy groceries, you still got to buy gas, you still got to just get stuff done. So how much money do you need per month to do what you want to do? Okay, you can make it up right now if you want. Is it? And here's the number. Is it $5,000 a month consistently? Is it 10? Is it 20? And here's the deal. If you haven't got 20, you don't get 40. You've got to get a base. So what we're going to talk about is how do you organize your money system. Most of you have never done because no one's ever taught you how to do it. So we're going to do some of that today. How do you organize your money system that money can flow into your system properly? Right? And so for a lot of you, we've got to restructure it. Now, here's the deal. Once you get that first Freedom Day goal, do you think you're going to grow and make it bigger? Yes. And it's going to go quickly if you do the way we say to do it. So what's your first Freedom Day goal that we got to go get? Is it 5, 10, 20? What is it? If you don't know what it is, have a seat. If you do, yell it out so I know what the room's thinking.
10.
5,000.
1, 2, 5,
10.
10, 5, 10, 10, 5. So somewhere between a 5 and a 20? Anybody bigger than a 20?
Well, 22, I said.
22. But do you have 10?
Pardon?
Do you have 10 now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So here's what's interesting. In the beginning, and how many of you are pure-blooded entrepreneurs? Like you actually, and even if you're an independent contractor for like an insurance or a real estate, you really are your own business, right? How many of you really are your own business?
Yeah.
So even if you're tucked under a brand or any of that kind of stuff, I have part of insurance companies, I have tons of real estate, so I know how that whole thing works. The difference is that I need you starting to think like you truly own the company, and when you truly own in that psychology, the game changes. It changes greatly. Right? Is there any employees in the room where you're like an employee of some other human? Including
They're at work.
And is your boss here so I'd have to behave? And if they're not here, we're going to quit those jobs as fast as you can.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Some of you are going, oh my God. Alice and Doug, you brought a lunatic to us. No, I brought a woman who's going to teach you how to do it properly, like having a job's like being in prison. It is. You know why? Because you don't have fixed potential, and they fix your income. That's the part I don't like about it. So I don't like that you're not really doing the work or that kind of stuff. It's just the income potential is fixed usually. Right? So for most of you, I understand you're professional services, so you actually have, even if you have a base, you have an unlimited upside. But then we got to play that upside. All right? So that's Freedom Day. The next thing is your relationship to debt. So there's good debt and bad debt. And as you become, how many of you seriously want to be a 3 to 5 year millionaire? Not 35 years, the slow one. 3 to 5, let's get it over with. Let's go. All right? So to do that, I need you making money in your business through a company and putting it to work in assets as fast as you can buy assets. So you women that want to shop, we're going shopping, but for assets. Right? We're going to buy gas and oil wells, we're going to buy companies, we're going to buy real estate, we're going to buy insurance vehicles, we're going to buy all sorts of cool stuff that can make you rich fast. So to do that, you're going to have to leverage good debt. You're not going to buy full cash units because we got to spread the money out that you're making as fast as we can, acquire a lot, and then we go sell. And then we start making a lot of money. You guys getting it?
Yeah.
I call it a wealth cycle. If you're unwilling to leverage good debt, have a seat. If you don't know what I'm talking about, have a seat. It's a financial literacy question. Most people don't know it. And here's the only thing I'm going to say about bad debt, like consumer debt, where you're just overspending in your personal life. The only reason that you're doing it is because you don't know how to make money. Think about it from a very basic, and you're gonna hear that in my whole conversation. I'm very just practical and straightforward. Is it what happens is you outlive your current check, whatever that is, even if it's a commission check, you outlive it, and so you want something else, so you put it on a credit card. If you actually knew how to turn on parts of your business to make as much money as you needed when you wanted it, you'd never have debt for more than 30 days. You just pay it off. You'd use cards. I'm all about because you need good credit, but you pay it off every month, right? The only reason you don't is because you don't know how to make money. So, are you ready to learn how to make some cash, like when you want? Yes. Not when, I hope my commission check comes in, right? I hope the closings happen, right? So while that stuff's happening, right? Do I know you well?
Yeah.
And here's a lot of you, right? Here's your cash flow, right? You go out and you did some good deals, and then it's like, and then you get panicked and frightened, and then right? So I want to stay behind you and grow your cash flow.
All right.
Right? There's cool ways to do it, and it's easy. Some of you are going to hear them go, oh my God. All right.
Yeah.
So the next thing, how many of you, again, if you're standing, if you are an employee, you're fine. This question doesn't apply to you. If you have your own business, even if you're like a contract employee or a contractor to it, but you are truly your own company, and you're not incorporated, have a seat. You've got to have, right? And I knew this was going to happen. It always happens in these rooms. And here's what, part of it is because the psychology of you haven't set it as a business. And let's be honest, some of the places that you're working don't encourage you to do it. But they don't even talk about it. Really, it's not even that they wouldn't discourage it. They're just not talking about it.
If we're
Here's
not,
the problem, though. It's the easiest way I teach this. Companies make money, individuals get
you're
taxed.
still sole proprietor.
Get it right? Companies make money, individuals get taxed. So I want you to learn how to have your company make money.
Your own
And if
company.
you say, well, my company won't let me and all that stuff, I'll show you how to do it. I do this work all over the world. It's a principle-based. It works all over. We might have to just do some interesting configurations to get it done right. But you need to have some structure. And even if you're an employee, I want you to have a company that can access and maximize tax advantages. Right? Because remember, companies make money, individuals get taxed. The worst kind of money, we're going to talk about the quality of money today. The worst quality and kind of money you can make is payroll money. It's the highest tax money that you can make. Right? So I'm not saying don't have any. I have some, but it's a very little amount because it's the highest tax money worldwide is when somebody can control your paycheck. But when you control your company income and then have the deductions, it's a very different game. So the whole goal in this strategy is we want you to keep as much as you're making so we can go do this, which is put your money to work. So if you looked at your average annual rate of return, if you currently don't have a plan for or are invested in a 10% or more portfolio, I mean all of your assets, so from real estate to share markets to any of the companies you own, your own company. So if you look at all your assets right now, if you don't have any, it really kind of doesn't apply to you. But if you have no plan to make 10% or more on your assets, have a seat. And that is teaching you how to, what I call, get off your lazy assets. Because, I mean, right now, like I'm doing gas and oil at about 110, 115% rate of return per year. I do a trading robotic system where I trade in very select areas of the market. I'm doing 6% a month. A month in that one. My own company's doing 30, 40%. Right? So if you looked across all of it, like I don't want you in mutual funds and bonds. That's boring. Useless. And you actually don't know what the hell you're doing out there. You're just parking your money with somebody and hoping to God it makes sense. And if you're a financial planner, we'll have some therapy later about this. I take a lot of traditional financial planners and help you add alternative investment options to your portfolio. The money is in that game, not in the bond game. You might make some interesting commissions, but the people that are around you aren't making much because your fee structure is too high. All right, so if you look at where we're going in the Millionaire Plan, we're going to make sure you maintain a great relationship to money. Here's the main thing you got to remember. When you hang out with rich people, you're going to become one. And if you're a real pain in the butt, we're going to not they hang out with us. So there's no whining. So you stop your whining and excuses because we don't have any. That makes sense?
Yep.
Like the only way that I did this so quickly is I hung out with rich people. And if you have some excuse that says, well, they won't let me hang out, well, then you're probably being a baby. Like, I know, time's off, man. I just have been doing this too long. I was a lot nicer and gentler way back in the day. But after I made this many millionaires and I'm in the game rigorously myself, like we just play. That doesn't mean we have all the answers, but as a collective group we do. So what we do is we create a community of people doing stuff together and in the same conversation. Then you know where you are, you know where you're going, you're willing to leverage a good debt on your way up. You can always get rid of it. I saw a few of you sit down. I just need to help you understand why that's critical in the first part. You can always pay it off later, but in the beginning, we want to make that happen faster. You got to keep your money through corporate structure, you got to invest it, and the biggest one, and not last because it's least on the list, is you cannot do it alone. All right, you cannot do it alone. You don't know half of the things that are required. And because you're doing it alone is how I find most people that start working with me, you don't have enough access to people with money and access to successful people. So what you're doing is you're staying in the circle of people that you're around and getting interesting opinions, but not help, right? So when we start working together, because we're going to, so say yes.
Yes.
Remember those questions earlier? You said you want to make money?
Yes.
How's your money, girl?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And then we're going to help you invest your money. So when we start working together, you got to start balancing, and I find a lot of entrepreneurs, you're so focused on your business, you don't have time for this asset conversation, right? And it is a lot of activity. I'm not going to call it work, but it's a lot of activity. And so the way we get time back in your life is you've got to start getting your life supported. So that starts in your home, right? And man, Vancouver's got a lot of traffic. So A, you should not be running errands, driving around, sitting in traffic. Somebody else for 10, 15 bucks can go to Costco for you and go get your dry cleaning and pick up groceries and do all that kind of errands. So if you don't have a personal assistant, you have no home help. Like I'm a single mom. I have a 15-year-old and an 8-year-old. I have a great nanny. She's lovely and she's with us all the time. I travel with my kids and my kids are here with me now. So if you have just no home help at all, from cooking to cleaning to landscaping to all of it, if you have no help in your home or a personal assistant, have a seat. You're doing everything yourself. Okay, we got to get you guys some help. You're working way too hard. My whole goal in this is that you don't have to work very hard. If you do everything I say, you won't work really hard. All right, so who's left standing? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
I guess I do.
Are you down?
Yeah, I am down.
Oh.
That was a long decision.
No, I was just thinking about it. I know. I have team help.
You do have some team?
Yeah.
Well, then
Well, I don't do everything on my own.
Then you don't. Then you.
I leverage the people around me.
Then that's
All right.
that's the
Okay.
question.
Okay.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 out of a room, about 180, 200 people are ready to be millionaires. So give them a hand for that. If you don't, mind sharing.
What?
Of the 12.
On paper or what?
Yeah. Well, it's assets minus liabilities is net worth. It's a formula. Yep. Figured a few. So if you are, you're validated, right? And if you're not, you got to be like really excited that you have all the components of a millionaire. And I think there's one thing missing. In fact, I know there's one thing missing. And it's what?
You.
Mindset.
Oh, for sure. At least you got that straight. We got that all sorted out. So there's one thing though. If all of you standing did one thing, and you have to agree when I say it, if you did one activity, you'd be a millionaire. What is it? Oh, hell no, we're not working hard. We're working really
Smart, but
No,
not
this is a
hard.
do less, make more equation. You got to make more money. You got to surge more cash into the system. So if your entrepreneurial venture, think about made more money inside the company that you have, and you could invest it more aggressively with better knowledge, wouldn't you agree? It's just, there's not enough flow in the system.
Yeah.
So what's cool is there is a system to be a millionaire. You have the components, you just don't have enough cash moving through it. Right? Make sense?
Yeah.
All right, give them a hand. Well done. So let's talk about what we just did. I spent a lot of time, so thank you. Plus, you were sad all morning, so it's fine to stand up for a little while. What did you learn? I take some time in that quiz because this is the system. And I know a lot of you look at it and say, oh, that's so simple. It's not simple, but it's easy. Let's get the difference. It's easy if you allow it to be easy. What happens to some of you is you have, paralysis by analysis, and you have perfection. I would say perfection is poverty, right? Because you're trying to get everything together right. The truth is, it's not going to all be perfect at any time. But all of this can get done if you really get committed to it. And so I've been doing this quiz since 2006, since I wrote the book. And the whole goal is to help you see that there's a money system that needs to be laid down. And the fastest way to probably describe it is if you truly want to be, you really have to ask yourself, because this isn't like a program I'm inviting you to a lifestyle.
Nice.
Does that make sense? Like a lifestyle, being a business owner and being a wealth builder. And people say, what do you do all day? I look at deals. I'm a deal addict. Any deal addicts in the room? Like you love deals. And here's what I know. You're not a deal addict. And what I find, and I'll pick on some of you women, I always say I came to the planet as a woman and then a single mom, so I'm eliminating all your excuses. Right? So a lot of single parents say, oh, but I'm really, I'm a single parent. So am I. I travel all over the world, bring my kids all over the world with me. There's an interesting school situation. But we just homeschool them part-time. That's right. There's a way better education out here in the world than sitting learning interesting things like dissecting frogs that you never do again. Our educational system worldwide is very, very substandard. We know that, right?
Yeah, we do.
All we're doing is getting people trained to be employees. That was a 1930, 40, 50 game. It is not the game today.
No.
At all. But it takes governments to change these whole systems. So while they're figuring that out, we're going to figure it out ourselves. Right? Because it has to happen in your home. So the reason why many of you aren't doing deals, I would say, is because you don't know how. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's think about it. If you really wanted to be a shark, do deals, you don't know how to do them. So there's 3 things that I teach and that I want you thinking about. So there's 3 reasons why I find people don't play. Number 1, you don't have the cash. Right? So let's just learn to make some. And I know I say that, and some of you go, well, that sounds like an easy answer. It is easy. You just haven't been taught right. Right? So you don't have the money to play. But even then, you still can play. Because I didn't have the money to play way back in the day. I gave a lot of time. And through the time, I learned. So the second one is you don't know who has the deals. Or who you can trust to have the deals. How many of you have done deals and they didn't work? So the tendency to go, I've done them too. People, if I'm interviewed on the media, we're doing a Forbes article right now, and I'm interviewed a lot, and they'll say, so what was the number 1 mistake in the last 2 decades? I said, picking bad partners. It's too quick. I didn't do much due diligence. I trusted that they knew what the heck they were doing. They had, they let things fall down. So you're going to have some of the bumps. My goal is to get you smarter so you actually know the components of a deal. So you know who, you know how, and you have cash. Right? So if you knew who, how, and had cash, you could be doing a lot of stuff. And you women, I was going to pick on you women. Women do it all the time. Like, you bring your girlfriends into a deal. Oh, we have this great thing. We should do this together. And then how many times have you all done that, and then it never happens? Right? How many great ideas have you had, and it never happens? And then 2 to 3 years later, on some infomercial, there's your damn idea. You're like, oh, I had that idea. Well, who cares? You didn't do a thing about it. And it's usually because you don't know how. So if there's some fear or risk energy that's kind of moving through you, how many of you are going, ooh, having this conversation with me? A little bit. Right? So be honest if you feel it. So instead of saying, oh, it's too fearful and risky, let's just analyze why that feeling happens. It's because you don't know how to do it. Right? So just I always say lean in and learn. So I want you to take that note. So anytime you feel like, oh, that's too risky what Loral's saying, just lean in and learn a little bit more about it before you assess it from this place of no education or no experience. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because if somebody has as much experience, I've got 2 decades of experience, I've done 1,000 real estate deals, I've done them in 5 countries, I own companies in 7 countries. We've been in Australia since 2007, we've been in the UK, we've done a lot of work in Calgary. This is our first run through Vancouver, which is kind of fun. Oh, it's beautiful here. It's raining. Yeah. Went out and run in the rain anyway. It's kind of just light rain. You still run through the fun parks here. But we've been in Calgary a lot. And we just did a show in Toronto and Halifax. So this is our first real entering into the Canadian market. So we're excited to be here.
Welcome.
Yeah, we're excited. And I met with some very interesting alternative. I have so much. I mean, it's been fun learning your very strict laws. Oh my God. They protect you like your little babies. It's not interesting. And it's not, and to the credit, right, of the regulators, is they're protecting the uneducated people. So, I don't know, you got 1 or 2 choices. Stay uneducated or get on the right side of this conversation and let's figure this out. Because you guys have reserves and resources in this country that you guys, huge money could be made. Right? Makes sense? But you don't know how to do it. And that's not, it's a worldwide thing. Very similar, so I've been in Australia, so the Canadian-Australian laws. We're in the UK, we're in South Africa, and we've been in Mexico for a very long time until the cartel kind of took over, so we're kind of going north. Been very excited. So I did a whole bunch of land deals that actually a bunch of you Canadians bought of my land. We did all these land units, and then the cartel kind of took over our land. It was very exciting. And so to attract people to come to our land so we could continue selling our lots, we built a tequila distillery, So you know how you go wine tasting? We go tequila tasting.
All right.
So, I mean, believe me, the interesting, whether it's an economic thing or whatever went on, you get really creative when you're around really smart people. Right? So